Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add the curtain wall in around here. Let me pull a view in of what we're going to do. That curtain wall again goes from the inside of the columns all the way around, and it's butted glass. So we're going to use the curtain wall 1 wall, which doesn't have any divisions. If you watch the previous video, you'll see an explanation of that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put in the curtain wall 1, and we're actually going to create our own curtain wall from that. And we're going to do that by duplicating the curtain wall system and then duplicating the actual exterior glazing panel that's creating that. Okay, so if I go minimize this, then basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a new system, which is the overall system for the curtain wall, and then we're going to create a new panel that's applied to that system, and this panel has a relationship to that system that we will update. So let me close this guy and we'll come back. Also, I just wanted you to know I'm using a stripped down version of our original model just to make it a little easier, and I gave you guys one that you can use as well. So to start the process, I'm going to go to my level 2 and make sure that your floor is on. So if it's not on, you can go to reveal hidden elements down here and select that floor and right click on it and go to unhide in view elements or category, depending on which one it uses. And so the curtain wall that we're going to draw is going to go from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and then back, so a rectangle. You can draw some reference planes in here to make sure you're exact the first time you put it in, but I'm just going to draw a rectangle and adjust it afterwards. So the first thing to do is go to the Architecture tab, go to the Wall pull down, Wall Architectural, and you want to scroll down to the Curtain Wall 1, right? And select that. And then I'm just going to go to the rectangle over here, select Rectangle, and then I'll double check the justification because it's going to base constraint to level 2, which is what we want, but it's top constraining to level roof, and we really want it to go to level top of column. So I'm going to come down here and pick top of column. Alright, and so now I'm just going to draw a rectangle that's close to where I want it to be. So starting up here somewhere near the midpoint and snapping to that grid line, and then drawing over here somewhere near the midpoint and snapping to that grid line. Alright, now I'm going to select the modify to stop that curtain wall command. I'm going to zoom in on the curtain wall, and we're going to see that even though I picked on the grid lines, the curtain wall is actually offset from the curtain wall system. So if I hover over this, this is actually the curtain wall system. You can see I pick it and it says curtain wall 1. And then if I come over and tap my tab key and select the panel, that's the panel that's applied to that system. And we really want our panel to be centered on the curtain wall system. By default, it's offset because typically in a structural curtain, in a constructed curtain wall system, the glass is offset to the mullion to the inside or outside. So we want it to be justified right on the center of that. So we're going to create a new curtain wall system and then re-justify the panel. So to do that, I'm going to select the curtain wall system, go to Edit Type, and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to bring this over to here, and I'm going to name it Curtain Wall Centered. And click OK. Alright, so now we have a new curtain wall system. Now we need to make a new panel that is justified to the center to apply to that curtain wall system. So I'm just going to click OK here. And to get to the panel and to create a new panel, we can tap our tab key until we can select the panel. And we can go to Edit Type, and we can duplicate that panel. Now sometimes you may need to unpin the panel in order to get to this point, but we're going to just go to Duplicate, and we're going to see Glazed Centered. Okay, Centered Panel, and click OK. Now you're going to notice the offset is set to 31.8 millimeters. We translated from an English system into millimeters, so it's a little funny, but if we just set that offset to 0, it'll center that wall. And then I'm just going to change the thickness here to 25 from 254, which is of course, the calculator from imperial to metric, and then click OK. So now I've replaced that panel on that one particular wall. But here's what I want to do is this wall right here is the curtain wall centered because I created it there. This one right here is still the curtain wall 1. So what I want to do is select the curtain wall 1, right click on it, select all instances, visible in view, and it will select all of those curtain walls, and go to the pull down, and now my curtain wall centered is an option for selection. And so if I pick that and zoom back in, I'm like, oh, why didn't that change to the centered one? Well, in this system that we have chosen, there's no panel applied to it, and because I created the panel on this wall, it applied it. But what we need to do is apply that panel to this wall system as a default panel. So I'm going to pick this wall system, go to Edit Type, and I can select the curtain panel for this wall system. If no curtain panel is selected, you can put whatever panel you want in there. But if you select this panel, it will replace it with just one panel type. So I'm going to scroll down way to the bottom, and you're going to see System Panel Glaze Centered Panel. And I'm going to select that and click OK. Alright, and so now we've got all of those centered. Alright, so that's the way we want to proceed, and in the next part we'll adjust the curtain wall itself.